Hello and welcome to the Streamline and Shine podcast. My name is Steph Bolton and I'm one third of Bolton Virtual Solutions, a team made up of me, Mum, and my two daughters, Sam and Amy. Our family virtual assistant agency's absolute passion is helping time-poor female entrepreneurs with those ridiculously long to-do lists, because we all know how they get longer instead of shorter, so that they're able to focus on doing what they love. You're going to want to stick around if you find yourself constantly just doing this thing quickly instead of spending time with your family, or if you look at your list of tasks and feel like crying, or even if you're just simply wondering how to manage your time better and delegate to your team. We're going to be covering topics from social media to marketing, systems and processes to outsourcing and so much more, so that you can see what's possible for you and your business. So let's get stuck in. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Streamline and Shine podcast. And today I'm joined by an absolutely amazing woman, Dani Louise Smith, who is the Queen of Business Organisation and also the founder of the Social Success Circle, which is a brand new networking business. So she's on the podcast today to answer my questions about her journey as an entrepreneur and how she's made things happen so that she's able to work smarter and not harder. So welcome, Dani.
Thank you. What an intro. And it's my first official intro for both businesses as well.
Yay, exclusive.
Yeah, I love that. I love the way you said it as well. And like you just had the words like there.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm always ready to go, Dani. You should know this. Okay, so we're going to dive straight in. So we're going to come to your backstory shortly, but tell us about your business or businesses, I should say, now.
Yes, because now there is two. So I'll start with the Queen of Business Organisation because that came first. I've been doing this for 4 years, and what that means is, as the Queen of Business Organisation, is that I'm a business coach, mentor, and best-selling author. Absolutely love what I do. So when I say I'm a business coach, I support predominantly women in service-based business industries, such as like coaches, consultants, therapists. Yeah, it's kind of that kind of range, but open to any service-based business really. And I focus on business organisation, business management, strategy, and that is my focus because I find a lot of the women I'm actually gravitating towards and helping are in a similar situation to me where they're parent carers or carers in some form, and so the juggle is real. So what I mean by that is I've got a disabled husband and one child who's diagnosed neurodiverse, one who's undiagnosed, and then I'm potentially neurodiverse myself. My husband's just recently got a diagnosis as well, so it's quite a challenge with a lot of the daily juggle we have going on. And I'm finding a lot of parent carers like that are coming to me because they can't work, they opt to start a business for themselves, but then their focus goes on their family, which is great, but then they're not doing what lights them up and making money from it. So that's what the gap that I bridge. And a lot of that comes down to great business management and organisation. So I've done that, yeah, like I say, for 4 years. And then I'm now the CEO and founder of the Social Success Circle as well. This is more of a passion project for me. I used to run networking events, which I'm sure I'll go into in a little bit. And for 2 years, I have had this idea. I know it's finally out there. And basically, the Social Success Circle is purely networking. So there's no trainings or anything like that. Just people in business getting together and networking, making those connections so that we can generate leads and, you know, build our audiences, get visible, and hopefully get more clients and make more money. However, we focus on inclusivity and accessibility because there is lots and lots of networking out there, but a lot of them are either inaccessible because you have to be a certain type of business or you have to be there at certain times, or they can be quite pricey, or you have to be in a membership. And so I find it quite restrictive. And so I wanted to bridge that gap and break down the barriers to getting access to networking. So I created this. And then the other side of it is that inclusivity. So it doesn't matter what your background is, what gender you are, what race you are, you know, like whatever, like you can be whoever you are and you're welcomed in that space, because I know there are spaces out there where if you're a man you can't join, if you're a and you know what, there is absolutely spaces for female only networking.
Mm.
However, I actually want to make a difference and bring men and women together, and I'm so excited to do that. So yeah, very very much about inclusivity, breaking down those barriers to networking so that they're affordable and accessible and inclusive. So that's our values with that business. I love it.
Wow. Like, did you breathe in between all of that? Because it was a lot, like, but I
I know.
absolutely love the way that you speak about your businesses because
That
you
just
can,
rolls because it's so passion led.
I was just going to say, you can see and hear the passion in your voice when you're talking about it. So I think that's absolutely amazing. And I love the idea of the networking being inclusive for everybody because, like you say, you find networking sessions or like in lots of different places, and there's normally some kind of stipulation.
Yeah,
And the fact that you're removing that altogether, I think, is just like top notch because I know we done a networking thing. I don't know if it was last week or the week before, and there was a couple of guys in there, and it's very different to me because any networking I've done, it's only been women. Whether it's
mm.
because women can chat a lot more, I don't know, but generally it's normally been just women, and it was very different for me. But it was actually a lot of fun. Like it was
Yeah,
nice to connect with people. And although like our businesses will probably never cross paths again because of the industries that we're in, the guys were like just really nice, friendly, chatty, and actually really funny as well. Like everyone
yeah,
knows how much I love a laugh. I can be silly, I can be stupid, I can be all sorts of things, but if it makes me laugh, then I'm happy. So
yeah.
the fact that I was able to be in that space was just like really nice and refreshing.
I found that as well. Like, I've only really been open to working and collaborating with men over the last year or so, and it's opened up more opportunities. And like you say, the men that I have actually connected with have been hilarious. So it's been
Mm,
really fun.
yeah,
And I want to see more of that. So I'm glad to be
yeah,
part of that as well.
yeah, definitely. Okay, so when did you start your own business and were you doing something different to begin with?
I was, yes. I think most of us do that, don't we, though? We go on a right
Definitely.
journey with it. So I started back when I was 21 years old. I had just had my first baby, well, about 20 actually, when I dipped my toes in. I just had my first baby. And because I had two businesses before that, I was bored out of my mind. So the first thing I actually did was built an online community of parents. I had no social media knowledge or training at all. I was very new to social media, but because I was bored, I just created like a Facebook page, and within about 3 to 6 months it was, we had 8,000 followers. We had a full admin team. We had businesses sponsoring us. It was insane. And I look back and think, how the hell did I do that? But
Mm,
I was bored, so I did it. And then when I did that, I start because I was still bored. I started sewing, so my first business became a keepsake making business. At first, it was like soft toys, cushions, and things like that, but it very soon niched down into keepsakes. It didn't take off until lockdown though, so it took me about 6 years. Because when lockdown happened, I was like, right, I'm getting serious now. I want to start making some money from this. So I did a business qualification, but obviously lockdown happened. I was still working at the time. So I had that business in place, left the parent community behind, and started focusing on that. And I loved it until I didn't. So what happened there was, like I still love doing it now, to be fair. I still love sewing. I'm very creative. But because I was making a physical product and prices went up in the like since lockdown, it was very draining of my energy and time.
mm,
So I could easily have put my prices up, but it would have meant charging £85 for a bear, and then it became like a barrier to people turning their nose up at that. But I just wasn't willing to exchange my time for free, because it was time consuming, and I didn't get orders of like one bear. I'd get like orders of 10 bears because I became so well known in that industry and making them. So I'd be getting orders of 10 items at a time. Usually, like my minimum were usually 6 plus. I could do one, but it was very rare. People just wanted them for the family. So there was a lot of money in it, but there was a lot of time in it. And
Mm.
it was doing really, really well. So that was my first business. So that was 11 years ago now. And I closed that down 2 years ago. Was it three? 3 years this June. I closed it down. And while I was still in that business, an opportunity came up from networking events. So I applied and I worked under the Mums in Business brand as the local leader for Leeds, and very quickly was great at that. I was really good at being a leader, got to the top of the board. We had like a leaderboard. I was making money from that. However, again, it was a lot of time for very little pay. Um, and I just thought, although I love it, I just need to step back and focus on myself and my business, because by the time I left that position, I'd started the Queen of Business organisation, but it wasn't called that in the beginning. So there's been a lot of up and down. Um, in the beginning, I came out as a creative business coach, but I was inspired by the women that I met through networking, because I rocked up as a networking leader, had these amazing events happening, still running the keepsake business. But I was sharing like my tips for staying organised because I was still working. They were like, "How are you doing this?" So I started sharing it, and someone said to me, "You should be charging for this information. You should be a business coach." And I laughed it off at first, but I quickly cottoned on to maybe I should. So I hired myself a business coach and I launched as a creative business coach. And then within a year, that took off. I then let go of the networking business, then let go the year after that of the keepsakes, and just became a business coach and mentor. However, then what happened was I didn't really like working on with creative businesses, and because I was closing my business down, it felt misaligned. So I then switched and became the Queen of Business organisation first, and then niched down into service-based businesses. So yeah, been a lot of up and downs, but in the last year or so, it's been a straight nice path, a nice path of growth as well. So that's who I became, and then of course in 2025, I've just launched the Social Success Circle alongside it. So it's gone from doing multiple things to letting everything go and doing one thing for a year and then bringing another thing back in. But at
Mm.
least my previous experience has taught me how to manage and organise
Yeah,
a couple of
yeah.
things.
Yeah, exactly. That is quite a journey, I must say.
Yeah,
And very
yeah,
varied as well. I mean, like making keepsakes and things like that. And now you're doing networking and business coaching and mentoring. It's just, but a lot of people that have been on the podcast have had exactly the same experience. Like there's been people who were making wedding cakes and now they're a messaging coach, and
yeah.
it's very varied, but I think it makes it more interesting.
Yeah, because I think you've got to go. Like when I closed that first business down, it was a bit like a loss. Like I had to grieve for it because I felt like if I closed it, that basically I would, like, I was leaving so much of a journey behind.
Mm,
But actually, it was worth doing that because it kind of just set me free to go do what I truly wanted. And I wouldn't have been able to work on the organisation had I not done all that first.
no,
So it took me to find my thing and find what I was good at. Because
yeah.
while I was doing working the job, because I did forgot to mention I left the job somewhere along in all that journey as well. Um, so when I left that job and left the businesses behind, like I was struggling. My husband had, since we've been together, he's had over 10 surgeries. I think he's had 13, but we've lost count. So he's had surgeries like every year up until lockdown, and then it became every other year. So he's only had a few since lockdown.
Mm,
Um, and we had my son like not going into school, having meltdowns. Obviously now we know he's autistic.
mm,
And we just had so many challenges. My own mental health as well. I always forget to mention my stuff, but my own mental health, like I had postnatal depression after our second child. That was really hard. Suffered with anxiety since a teenager. And we
mm,
all know how that is. You start doing really well, but it does come back round again,
yeah,
unfortunately, as you
yeah.
go through life. So we've juggled quite a lot, and like people say, you juggle more than most, but I've still managed to create this business that I love and that pays me. So, um, it is quite a lot, but I feel like if I hadn't had all that happening, I wouldn't have got organised,
No,
and I wouldn't
exactly.
have found my way to that. So
Yeah,
I'm grateful
yeah.
that I did.
Yeah, I think everything is there to happen for a reason that's like
Yeah,
put in our path, you know. And with like all the health conditions and stuff that you've got in your family, I can relate to it quite a lot, but it's sent to the strong people.
yeah,
All of that sort of stuff, I think, is sent to those that can manage it. So, and that's what you're doing. All of you are
yeah.
doing, I should say, not just you. You can't take
Everybody
all the
goes.
credit, Danny.
Everybody goes to me, and you never complain. I'm like, you haven't seen me at home, then have you?
Yeah, what you say behind closed doors we'll keep there, okay? Just so
Yeah.
that you look amazing and you're always happy.
Of course I complain. I'm a very good complainer, I'll have you know.
Ain't we all? I
Yeah.
think we should get medals for how much excuse me. Cut that bit, Aim. Okay, so what is your big focus for 2025 and why?
Oh, I always find it hard to pick one.
You can give me a couple as long as they're good ones. I don't mind.
I think for me personally, it's being able to um balance and it probably sounds insane because everybody thinks, oh, you do this so well already. But because I've brought out the new business, I want to be mindful of that. I'm still working my 4-day weeks and I'm still getting the time for myself, which
Mm.
over the recent months has not really happened. So I'm working on that. And as you know, I'm outsourcing to help with that. So that's a massive focus for me personally, is to make sure that there is a balance and I'm still getting to do all the lovely things that I want to do. And I'm so grateful that I do because, like, I mean, I'm spending more than ever, but I've realised actually my, like, I don't know what to call it, but like, because I'm earning more, I'm treating myself to more things like a gym membership, learning to drive, and all these big things that I wanted to do, which is amazing. But then in terms of business, my biggest goal for the Queen of Business organisation is I had this vision when I did a meditation 2 years ago. It was not last Christmas, the one before. I did this meditation around a girl's goal setting and planning workshop, and me rocking up to this thinking, should I go to this? Because actually, I'm really good at planning and goal setting. I don't really need it. I'm so glad I did because this woman did a meditation and it was the best meditation ever. I cried and I saw this, I had this, what I call a vision of me on a stage with my mentors, past and present, and 100 people in a room, all business owners, and we were all dancing and celebrating together. And when I saw that, I was like, I need to create that. So this year I am working on creating it. So I have been fortunate that I've managed to get my business mentors, past and present, plus a few other experts and friends that I have worked with, and we're all coming together. We're going to be on my stage in that room. I just now need to fill it with 100 people, but there's plenty of time. It's happening in November, and I do believe you're coming, aren't you?
I'm so bloody excited for this event, let me tell you.
Yeah, so that's one of like
Because
my biggest things this
I get
year.
to travel as well and stay in a hotel on my own. I can't fucking wait.
Oh, and it's a nice hotel. It's such a nice hotel as well. Unless
Mm.
you accidentally nearly flood the bathroom, which I did do once. I couldn't get the
Oh,
tap off.
I'll try
I
not to do
had a
that.
panic.
I'll try
I
not to
went
do
through a
that.
relaxing bath that wasn't relaxing because I couldn't get it off. I thought so. I pulled the plug like, oh my God, husband fell asleep. So I could hear him snoring. Like, what do I do? But yeah, that's a big goal of mine. So that's happening this year. But then in terms of the social success circle, it's pretty simple with that one. I just want to make it profitable enough so that I can outsource to a team so I can then grow it, because at the moment we have 3 online networking events a month. We've got one in person, but that's about to expand. I want to get them all over the country in the UK, and then provide more online opportunities as well. So I'm going to need a team of people to do that. So the more money I can get from that, the more I can outsource and just make it an amazing community for everybody. Because this
Mm,
is such a passion project. It's not really about the money. So I just want to make it profitable enough to do that without
mm.
it draining my energy and time and money as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I just want to keep that simplified and simple and I want to be a CEO that stands at the top and everybody's running it, but also be in it, if that makes sense. So I'm
Yeah,
still
you want
part
to
of the
know what's going
community.
on. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to
Yeah.
be involved in networking with everybody. So I'm a member as well as the owner of the company. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited to do that this year and see how that goes because it's new and fresh. So yeah, that's my goal for that, and that's like my vision this year. And I am keeping it really simple this year. Um, other than like, I think the other thing is I want to learn to drive so I can get to more places.
Yeah. Yeah. And in less
Yeah.
time as well without having to wait for buses that drive past you, eh?
Yeah, well, to be honest, I've had a few people mention that today, like, oh, when you're driving, but when I go to Leeds events, I still will be using public transport just
Oh,
because
okay.
it's easier in Leeds.
Yeah.
Anyone who knows Leeds, it's a nightmare to drive into. So I will unfortunately still have to use public transport, but or I could get the husband to drop me off and go home.
There you go. See, could get a chauffeur.
Yeah, oh, I'd love a chauffeur.
Yeah. Yeah. One day we'll have one each. One day.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what would you say is the importance of finding your tribe as a female business owner?
Oh, this is like one of the best things you need to do for your business because that's why I set up networking because it creates your tribe. Oh, it's so important. I'd say it's one of like the top three things you need to do within your business. I did a list last week of 10 things, 10 lessons as 10 years in business. I've technically been 11 years in May, but I wanted to do that. And when I wrote the list, I think I got to number three and it was um about like the people you surround yourself with.
Hmm.
So it's so important to me because if it weren't for people that I had met like through networking and surrounding myself with, like my tribe, I
Mm,
wouldn't have become the Queen of Business Organisation. I probably wouldn't have become like start the social success circle because that all happened because of my first business. Like I had a brand rep team, and then when I said about this position, they were like, go for it, do it," and they egged me on, and it was just amazing. So they were my tribe, and my tribe's changed over time, but it's definitely made a massive difference into I've been able to learn so many things. Being if I had motivation, be inspired, be encouraged, be supported, and have
mm.
people to go and moan to when you want that good moan that we were talking about.
We all need that
Get
moan
it.
every now and then, definitely.
Yeah, people that just get it because we all deal with tricky situations in business we don't like, or we discover new things that we don't know how to navigate, and it is your tribe that have your back with that, and
Mm,
it makes such a difference,
yeah.
such a massive difference.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And other guests that I've had on the podcast have also said that um, fellow business owners get it because, like, you can have your besties that you've known from school or you've met through a previous job or whatever it might be. But if they've never run their own business, they won't get what you're moaning about. It's like moaning to your other
yeah,
half, who's like my husband's full-time employed. So when I'm talking to him about business stuff, I can see it going in one ear and out the other. He has no clue what I'm talking about, and he doesn't
yeah,
understand like the frustrations or the upset or like the excitement or whatever it might be, that he just doesn't get it, which is fine, but you do need people who do get it around you.
yeah. You do. My husband's started to get it now, just because he's at home, and so he hears a lot of my trainings.
Yeah.
So he's actually learnt from listening to me, which is amazing. However, sometimes it does shoot me in the backside because if I'm ever a Debbie Downer, he uses my own words against me. So he then takes on the stuff from hearing me coach others and he goes, "I've heard you say to so and so, or I've heard you on this training, or I've heard you on this live." And I'm like, okay.
All right, calm
um,
down.
but I'm so glad that it has picked up on that because I've got that at home. Then
Yeah.
and I can't argue with it because it's my own advice.
No, exactly. Yeah. So, oh,
um,
well, that's going to shut you up then, isn't it?
I know it does, and he's always right because he's learnt it from me.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, it does have a massive impact. Like I've had a friend who I remember saying, "Oh, how's your business doing?" And I was like, "Well, I made 2 grand this month." She's like, "Oh, that's great, isn't it?" I says, "Yeah, but expenses are really there's a lot of it." And she was like, this was a while back when I first started achieving something, and she was like, what do you mean?" I says, "Well, do you know how like you get paid and you pay your bills and what you've got left is got left?" I says, "Well, in my business, I get paid." I cover my expenses, and then what I got left, then that covers my bills, and then I've got what's left. I said, so it's like two lots of it. And she's like,
Yeah.
oh, right, didn't know that. I says, well, where did you think all this stuff was getting paid? Like,
Yeah.
who was funding it? I am. So she didn't really understand how it worked, and it opened my eyes to that people are not aware of what you have to actually navigate as a business owner, like how much work it has to take. Like comments from family who were like, well, I thought you worked the hours of 9 till 3. And I'm like, yeah, but if my kid gets sent home midday, I've missed that time. So when he goes to bed, I'm going to have to pick up that work somewhere because,
Mm.
but that's why we do it, innit? It's that flexibility to do that, which I'm
Yeah.
so grateful of, but sometimes it can be challenging.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's very true, actually. Okay, so if you could go back to when you first started, or if you were talking to a brand new business owner, what one piece of advice would you give them?
I'd say hire a business coach sooner. And people might think you're going to say that because you're a business coach, but I'll go networking sooner because I was so scared. I was so scared to
Mm.
invest. I was shy, believe it or not. I don't show up now, but I never used to like like going back to when I was a kid. Um, I was the kid who started nursery and had meltdowns, and then I'm like, Archie's doing it, and I'm like, oh. But yeah, I was the kid that had meltdowns, wouldn't go in, and then when my mum did get me settled in, when I started school, I didn't speak to anyone for about 2, 3 years, which is insane to look back because now I don't shut up. But I didn't, and then when I started in business, I wasn't being heard, I wasn't being seen because I was too afraid to say, hey, this is me and this is what I do. So I'd go back to that girl and I'd say to her, or anyone starting out, I'd say, look, just speak up, just shout about yourself because you've got something to share and people are going to want it. And if I could
Mm.
tell past version of me that, then she'd be like, oh, really? And I think I'd have moved faster. However, I do believe in divine timing and everything was meant to be on that path. But I would
Yeah.
definitely say that. And I'd
Yeah.
also say invest in yourself because the moment I started paying for like I think the first thing I invested in was like a 30 quid social media training and I implemented that and then I made some money and my business grew and so I bought another one and I implemented that and I made some money so my business grew. So when my income grew I could then spend more and invest in more, and I wish
Mm.
I'd have just realised that sooner because I think so many people hold back like, oh, it's going to cost me money. But back in the very very early days when I ran Dani Keepsakes, I did my business enterprise course was actually free and I got some funding from that. And I remember when I did that, and like it was such a game changer. Like I was so scared to invest, but like once I did, and I got that return on investment, I kind of got a feel for it, and it completely changed. Can't even just explain like seeing the
Mm.
other side of it. And I remember cutting back on stuff like to make it work because we were bad for like takeaways and like money
Yeah.
wise then I was shocking, so shocking. But I was like it started with our wedding first. So for any business owner, like look at your scenario like this. We wanted to get married, but we were on such a low income. We had one kid already, we
Mm.
had 300 quid pound in savings, which felt like a lot back then. It's not now. You're lucky if you get,
Not at all.
you
Can't even
know,
get
can't
two
even
food
get to,
shops out of that,
I
can
was just going
you?
to say that, yeah, it's not even 2 weeks worth of shopping.
No.
Um, so like it felt like a lot then. We would have got more out of it back then. And so we were like, yeah, we've got 300 quid, let's set the wedding date. But
Yeah.
what happened were a week after we set the wedding date, I started my business enterprise course, came home, and I said to my husband, I think I'm pregnant. Did the test that night, was pregnant. So we had me starting this business, wedding date set, no money, and now a baby on the way. So everybody was like, "Oh, you're not going to get married now," and I was like, "No, I'm bloody doing it. I'm doing it." So what we had to do was budget. And through the business course, actually, I learned how to manage finances, so that helped. Because I applied what I learned for business to my life,
To personal, yeah.
and so I cut back on like takeaways. So when I did it for the wedding, I was like, oh, yeah, I really need to do this for business. So managing my finances definitely helped, and then I could invest and like before you know it, you're making more money, so you can have the business coach and the takeaway.
Yeah,
um,
exactly.
yeah, once you get to that point, you can have it both. So that's another thing. And then the second one, yeah, go networking earlier because you don't even
Mm.
have to pay for those. You can find free ones. Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I've just hosted a full week of them for free, haven't I? So they're
Yeah,
definitely out
exactly.
there.
Exactly. They are out there. So it's I think that's one of the things that I would say as well is networking, because until I went to a couple of events with my business coach that she put on. I'd never done networking before and I was absolutely terrified. And although I'd been talking to these people on Zoom calls, I was now having to meet them in person. And I was
Yeah,
absolutely shitting myself for no reason whatsoever apart from being in the same room as them. And I'm not a massive introvert. I'm quite extroverted, but there is a bit of introvert in me. So, but I mean, I had the best time ever and I learnt so much. And then her events got bigger and they got bigger and they got bigger. So each one I've been to, I've spoken to new people. Now I walk in the room and I'm like, I'm me. If you can take me or leave
yeah.
me, kind of thing.
I think as well, because you get to know people online, when you do then meet in person, it feels like you've always known them. Because like the first one of those that I went to, I think we were on the same table, weren't we?
Yeah,
And instantly, because I knew you from online,
yeah,
and I didn't know anybody else, it just felt a little bit more comfortable because I knew you. And I
yeah,
feel that's quite nice that you can check people out or get to know people online first and then dip your toes
exactly.
in. It
Yeah,
just eases it. And
does make a big
usually,
difference.
like, you'd never know that you've never met before because people just get on so
No,
well.
that's it, because you can relate to each other, can't you? You can talk about like the online meetings you've been on, or like you've got something in common, haven't you? So you've got some common ground to start talking about, and then it can
Yeah.
just progress from there. So, okay, big question now. What is the big dream for you?
Oh, I find this so, I keep getting this sort of question, and I find it really hard because I feel like I'm doing them. So that's a good thing. So obviously
It
the big one
is.
was the event this year.
Yeah.
But in the next few years, the Queen of Business Organisation, I want to be supporting quite a lot more people. And I don't want to say this because I don't want people in my team to know, but I'm gonna have to. So my dream is to get to six figures, not for myself, but so that the people that work for me I can give bonuses to, because I want people. So I want to be the boss in my business that people love to work for but won't mess with.
Okay.
So that's my goal with that. I want to earn enough to do all the things that I want to do. So we want to go abroad. My kids and my husband have never been abroad, so I'm going to take them abroad. Um, but we're doing this stuff. It's happening. So that obviously the money comes from the business to do that. But then yeah, I want to look after the people that are in my world. That is in the business as well as in my life. So there's that for that business, and then for Social Success Circle, the big goal is to go global. So not just in the UK. And I'm thinking, how the hell am I going to manage that? But with
Let's get
teams
it
and
national
stuff.
first, shall we?
Yeah,
And then we'll do
yeah,
international afterwards. One step at a time, Danny.
yeah, definitely. But I actually have another goal which I'll share with you. So yeah, so we'll go national first, then international. So I would like to go international and global with
Yeah.
that, but I would need a big freaking team for that. But that's okay because we'll just take it one step at a time. But my ultimate goal, and this came up to me, not last year, the year before, I went to a retreat and I was quite angry at the time because I'd started doing some therapy, and what came up was my anger in how when I left my job, I was so scared, but I kind of felt like I had to and like I was forced. I mean, I wanted to anyway to do the business, but because my husband was having a big surgery on his knee, he had a knee replacement and he was 35 by the time he had it, so he was quite young. And when he was having that, I knew that recovery was going to be about 8 to 12 weeks.
Mm.
So I went to my management and I said, look, I'm going to need this time off because he's not going to be able to do school runs, he's not going to be able to walk. So I need to look after him as well as the children because usually in the evening I'd work and he'd do the school run, or in the afternoon, the 3 o'clock run. And what happened was basically there was no funds, like no carers support, nothing to cover me while I came out of work. And it really angered me actually, because there used to be something, some carers fund or something, but they took it away. So when I found that out, it really angered me, and I ended up leaving. But there's a gap that out there now. I think for people who are working, whether it's employed or self-employed, and they are carers, there's not enough support out there. They get forgotten about. So I want
Mm.
to create. Originally, I wanted to do a charity, but it might be quite challenging to do it in the way I was. So what I was originally going to do is I wanted to fund people to come out of work so they could still get their wage, but then look after and care for whoever they needed in the family and themselves.
Yeah.
However, because of the benefit system and things like that, it just won't work. However, I'll either do a charity or a CIC where instead of paying for them to come out work, we give them some form of support, whether it be we pay for cleaners or carers to come in and do what they need, or even a holiday and just give them a bit of respite, or just give them something. But also, I want to run support groups, so I don't know how I'm going to fit all this in, but we'll figure it out when it comes to it.
I was going to
Um,
say, do you only have 24 hours in your day, or do you have more secretly?
I think I'm working through the night. I don't know what's going on. I'm in a whole other dimension. Um, but this is the thing, I'm not doing it yet. I'm passionate about doing it, but I'm not doing it yet because I do realise I need to pace myself. However, I have already spoke to charity carers leads, and the woman I spoke to there, who's been amazing support to me as a carer, has said it is a fantastic idea. So please do get in touch with the CEO because they'll be all for it, and they
Mm,
already run some groups. So I aim to set up a charity group where it's free, and I'll just bring people together that are workers, whether they're probably lean towards more the self-employed because we do get forgotten about, but
mm,
those who work and have caring responsibilities, I want to
yeah,
support them.
that's
So it'll
tough.
just be like a bit like a little support group where they can just come and offload because I need that and I feel like so many other people need that. So I'm
Yeah,
going to eventually create that, but let me just make my let me get abundance of wealth for myself and my family first, and then
yeah,
I will do that. So once we're both businesses have got a team managing everything and going really well,
yeah.
I'm gonna do that. So in probably a few years time, yeah.
She
And
says,
let
watch
me
this
kids
space, everyone.
yeah, let me kids grow up a little bit first. I think that's the really important thing.
That makes life a lot easier.
Yeah,
It
because I
really
just
does.
don't want them to always see me juggling everything and stressed, and I want
No.
them to see me being present. So when they're a bit more independent, I mean, my oldest is getting there, but my other two are still quite young. So when they're all very independent and don't care about me anymore, they're all soppy buggers, so that'll take a while, I think. But um, they are, they're very, very affectionate of my kids,
Oh,
and I love that. But me and Dan are, so they've got that from us. But when they grow up and they don't need me as much, that'll be when I can give more to other people, I think. So
exactly. Yeah, you'll have more time
yeah,
on your hands and no
exactly.
school runs and all of that malarkey. But I mean, I can relate to that because my youngest is 14, so she takes herself off to school unless I'm at home, and then apparently I'm a chauffeur. Um, but it's only up the road, so she could walk, but you have to choose your battles, don't you?
Yeah, you do. You
But
do.
yeah, so they know, like they're old enough to understand that when I'm on a call, I need to be left alone. If I say I'm concentrating on something, just give me the time to do it, and then I'm all yours after that kind of thing. So it does make life a lot easier when they're there, when they're old enough to understand that why
Yeah.
you're doing it kind of thing. It's not because you don't want to spend time with them, it's because you're creating a better life for them.
Yeah. And my kid's like Archie gets it now. He's 8. Eliza not so much. They don't really understand like if they're off school. I don't work when they're off now, but when they
Mm,
were off school and I was working, they just thought mummy's at home, so she's
yeah,
not working because they're not used to that, but now they're getting used to it. Because I just explained to him, look, mummy does this thing, she gets money, and then we get to go do fun things. So it's starting to add up for them because I do
mm,
put a lot of money into like activities for them in half term
yeah.
because I feel like they sometimes go a bit overboard and they're like, Mum, can we just stay home today?
Yeah, then
So I've
I'm
real
knackered. I need a PJ day, mum.
yeah, they've literally said that, and I overwhelmed myself. Like one summer, I was getting something in every day, and then I realised, like, we don't work like this. We can't do this, even if it's having fun. So we do have days with nothing planned because we all need
Yeah,
that. But yeah, I like to book in some activities and stuff for them. So I'm like to fund those activities. Mummy needs to do this
we need to
thing.
do this first.
And they're
Yeah.
starting to get, and we've got, I mean, they get rewarded for great behaviour because the better they behave, the easier it is.
Yeah, the easier
It,
life is because it's
yeah,
already manic. Like, yeah,
yeah,
like I say,
exactly.
you have to pick your battles, don't you? So a
Yeah.
chocolate bar here and there, it's not going to kill anyone.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, the school have got this new reward system in place where you give points. So I've signed up. You don't have to, but I have. It's only £3 a month or something. And so when my kids are really good, I can give them a point. So I've got the deal that if so Monday to Friday we work on, because we let them go wild on a weekend, to be fair.
Oh,
We
they've
kind
got to
of,
let off steam, haven't they?
yeah, we let them stay up, we let them have the devices. It's 2 days, it's not, they need it,
Yeah.
as much as I do. So there's kind of no boundaries on a weekend. But Monday to Friday there is, we're very routine and a little bit stricter. So if they get 10 points Monday to Friday, I'm giving bloody parent advice now. But I'm
Yeah.
doing what I
How
do
this
anyway.
podcast has changed.
I know. Well, it comes into my work because a lot of my clients are parents and they find the dynamics challenging with
Mm,
neurodiverse children. So they have to implement stuff like this so they
mm,
can then work on the business. And that is one of my tips.
yeah.
But like they've got this reward system. So if they get 10 points by Friday, they get a reward. My poor boys, though, the other week when we all had chicken pox, because they weren't in school and they weren't doing anything, they didn't get any points. And I felt a bit awful for them. So when my
Oh,
daughter got to spend, she got £1.25 for her reward because they either get 1.25, which is enough for a bag of sweets, or
yeah.
they can use it for an ice cream. Or my oldest is very smart and he saves it. So
Right.
um, off she went to the shop. So my husband went, shall I get them some sweets? I'm like, yeah, because they've had no choice because they've just
Yeah,
sat
it's
in their
not their
beds all
fault, is
week.
it? Yeah,
No.
exactly.
So they
Not
got a
like they've been
reward.
naughty.
No, so they sat with their. Well, my son got 8 points when he weren't even at school because he kept winning something when he weren't even there, which was hilarious.
Well, that's
But
quite
it's
good.
yeah. So well, it could be costing me money, but yeah, we've got this good system now so that they know that by Friday they can get a reward if they've got 10 points. So
Mm,
I wish someone
no.
did that for me. Like
I
you
think
do
someone
really good
should
with
do
your
that.
business,
I think
yeah.
someone should do that for me now because, like I'm working bloody hard.
Yeah, I'd love it if on a Friday someone, most people's choice would be like a drink of wine or something. For me, it's like, Danny, you do this, this, this. I'll get you a chocolate bar. I'll be
All
like,
right
brilliant.
then, it's done.
You can tell what my motivation is, can't you?
Yeah, mine too. Mine too. I'm all about the
It's
sugary
always food.
stuff.
Food. Eat chocolate bar, cheeky Chinese on a Friday.
Oh, oh, don't. I could murder one of those right now.
Oh,
Okay,
I
we're
know.
coming to the end. So, with your big goal or goals in mind, because there was quite a lot there, tell us how you streamlined your things in your business. So I know
Yeah.
this answer from the Queen of Business organization is going to be epic, but whether that's your systems and processes, managing your time, having boundaries, um, what have you done to help you reach, well, or get closer even to those goals?
So I could talk about this all day because I love this topic. So the first thing is focus, which I find so hard. Being potentially neurodiverse is so hard anyway, but focus on one thing at a time as best as you can. We are going to have multiple things going on at a time. Of course we do, but as much as you can focus on one thing, the better, the easier, the better. So that's my first one. The second thing, and I'm sure you'll massively agree with this, is to automate whatever you can
Oh,
because it gives you so much time. And now more than ever, we have got all these systems we can tap into with like AI
so many
or
options.
like email marketing, all in one systems, all of these stuff that can just give you back so much time. And we can outsource easier now as well
Mm,
and quite affordable, like yourself. So
mm.
um definitely automate and then it probably would be outsourced. But when I say outsource, I think we've had this conversation before, it doesn't have to be something you pay for. So I struggle with this because I like being in control. I like being a bossy as well. So I always say to me, my sister says I'm bossy. I said, I'm not bossy, I'm just a good leader.
I love it.
But what I do is I outsource things that are going to help my business without directly helping my business. So my husband now will, because he's at home, sometimes he will be limited physically, of course, but he will go, is there anything you want me to do today? So if there's anything that's going to make my life easier, like maybe a phone call or maybe going to the shop for something, which sometimes he can get a lift if he needs, um, just something that if he does that, it's one less thing for me to think about, so I can
Hmm.
carry on with my work stuff between 9 and 3 on those days when I can stay within the hours. Then it just makes life easier. So I do delegate to him, and we are such a good team. And you've got to be a good team with the people that are around you in life. So it's not just about your team in your business that you outsource
Mm.
to, it's your team outside your business as well. That sometimes is your family. Don't be afraid to ask for help. And I really do struggle with this. I remember a few weeks back. I can't remember what it was. I think one of the kids was home, and for whatever reason, they weren't at school, and he had an appointment, and I had something on, and I was like, oh, how am I going to do this? I'm like, I can't move this. It's too important to move. Because
Mm.
usually for the kids, I'll move it. I'll rearrange the client, whatever it is. But it was something really important. So, he ended up ringing his mum, I think it were, and she's like, can you just do this for me so that Dan can work? She's like, yeah, absolutely. She's absolutely fine with it. And that was a massive help. And to be fair, she texted him for the food shop as well. So those things just help because my husband
Mm.
can't go do the food shop on his own. It's a bit too dangerous, or it can, yeah, there's
Just a
loads
bit
that can go
much.
on. Yeah,
Yeah.
so because of his physical disabilities, he can't. So it just means I don't have to. And do you know what? They get a bit of mother and son time squeezed in, and I bet they moan and stuff together and they love it. So
Yeah, but you don't hear it, so it doesn't affect you.
no, it really doesn't. And to be fair, sometimes she will tell him off for stuff as well, which I find
Oh,
hilarious.
good. Excellent. That's the kind of mother-in-law you need.
Yeah, we get on really well.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely delegate to people whatever you can, because anything that's going to make life easier for yourself, definitely do. So there'd be my top three tips to streamline, because I feel like not enough people do them. People
Mm.
definitely don't focus. People definitely avoid the tech because automation involves a bit of tech. And people are afraid to ask for help, but it's so important that you do.
Yeah. I like those answers. They're very different to what other people have said.
Oh,
But
that's good.
yeah, focus is my favourite, I think, because that's something I struggle with. I think because we work with so many different clients on different projects and we've got our own things going on, and then you've got life in the background, it's
Mm,
very easy to be distracted or work on a couple of like you find yourself with 20 tabs open and you're just dipping in and out of different things. So I've probably got ADHD thinking about it, but you know. But yeah, focus I think is something that's really important. So, last thing from you, please can you tell the listeners where they can find you and what your current offer is for them?
Oh, okay. So over in the world of the Queen of Business Organization, literally, I'm everywhere as Queen of Business Organization. So I use my Facebook profile as Dani Louise Smith, and then Queen of Business Organization on Instagram. And then I have a podcast which is Strategy, Sales and Systems. Have I got that in the right order? Yeah, strategysalessystems.co.uk. Had to think about that. I recently changed the name. So I have got the podcast. I'm also on YouTube. So if you search my name, Dani Louise Smith, or the Queen of Business Organisation, there's a podcast on there as well, and you can catch other videos and stuff. I go live pretty much every week. So I upload those videos onto there. And then for the social success circle, same again, literally social success circle everywhere. So predominantly Instagram, to be fair. So I'm on there. And I don't think I'm anywhere else for that for the moment. Just keeping it simple and streamlined.
Yeah.
So yeah, just Facebook and Instagram are my main jams. I love them. And then obviously the podcast. But yeah, you can come and find me. I'm always sharing so much for free because I love to give and I love to talk, as you can tell. So I do like live videos every week on Instagram and then repurpose to YouTube. So definitely watch out for those.
And what about your offer?
Oh yeah, my offer.
Don't forget that's the most important bit.
If that was one of my client, I'd be telling them off. Get your sales pitch in.
Yes,
Um,
exactly. Come
so
on, sell.
my offer for Queen of Business Organisation at the moment, although it is about to end soon, it's called Launch with Dani. So I'm about to go into 6 months working on my signature program launch. I've done it before, I've sold it out before, but I want to do it bigger and better. So I thought, why am I doing this research? Because I am doing research behind it and finding what's working now in terms of marketing. I'm tweaking a lot of things, doing things differently. And I thought, why do this on my own? So I thought I'll take people with me. So we launched with Dani, and I've done a launch program like this before, but this time it's very new and different. I'm not planning, this is weird for me because I like to organise everything, don't I? But there's no structure to it other than the monthly sessions that we have to coach and mentor them, so they get that as well. But as I do my launch, everybody else is going to launch with me. So in 6 months' time, everybody will have a signature offer launch. So that's what I'm promoting at the minute, and I've made it super affordable. It's literally £222 for 6 months, which is insane.
That's amazing.
And obviously payment plan, I always do a payment plan. But that starts on the 31st of March, so there's not much time to get in there, to be honest. But I'll probably do it again every year when I do the launch. And then for Social Success Circle, the big one is the membership at the moment. So the membership is 3 online events a month for now, because we will grow, and then 1 in-person event. So they will be popping up across the place, but it's £14.99 for the membership, and then there's a community as well with some opportunities in there. And they change a lot, like there's loads of different opportunities, so it's definitely worth getting involved in just for the community alone, never mind the meetings. But then there's online meetings at different times every week, and then the in-person ones you get a discount on. So it's insane what you can get for just £14.99 a month in there. So that's the thing I'm shouting about there.
Love it. And £15, can I just say, for 3 online networking events, I think is just an epic price that
Yeah.
there won't be many people who can't afford that to get their
This
business
is why
out
I did
there.
it.
And
I
yeah,
mean,
exactly.
well, currently, obviously, as we record this, but the offer will end by the time the podcast goes out. I did it for £4.99, and so many people have gone, I can't not join, that's a no-brainer. And that was the point. I wanted to build a big community first with this no-brainer offer, so then people really got to meet other people and connect. So yeah, I just had to make it accessible.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, right. That is the end of your interview, Mrs. Smith. But thank you for joining us today. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I've loved hearing about your journey. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Streamline and Shine. If you have questions on what we covered inside, please feel free to reach out to us on Instagram at Bolton_virtual_solutions, or you can email us at teambolton@boltonvirtualsolutions.co.uk. We absolutely love hearing from our amazing community and are always here to support you. If you'd like to be interviewed on a future episode, please drop us an email letting us know which topic you'd like to speak about, and we'll get back to you. See you on the next episode, lovelies.